How's it going? Hope you're doing as good as I'm doing today. Very low-key kind of day. Might be a little bit toned down on the energy, but we're chilling, It's just kind of one of those days. I went to the gym a little bit earlier, and not too many homies around. I saw like one or two people around, but you can always turn on the mindset, have fun, and just chill out by yourself if you need to. I always say, there's always a bit of individualism versus collectivism in this type of sport. Love the attention sometimes from the homies and the support that I can get, but I'm still going to be in here regardless if they're there or not, doing the best that I can. But, either way, I got me some McDiabetes because we're resting tomorrow. Couldn't be happier. And I hit all my lifts, and everything actually felt really, really good. I got a very humbling chest pump from the lightweight today because I'm telling you, man, when you do 5 sets of anything, like 5 working sets, it can, just for strength builders specifically, I feel like bodybuilders would still think that's a good bit for working sets. But it felt good. When it came to, what am I talking about? The fucking snatches went really well. I felt good. The whole point of my lightest week of every block, because I've said it before, this is my first week of block 2, so everything is the lightest it'll be for the most volume, set-wise at least. And I'm just trying my best to make sure I keep the consistency up and keep my form and everything together. But regardless of all that, the whippage was pretty nice. I've gotten really good at when I'm running low on energy, like today. Every time it's like a third day in a row on my bench days, it can be a little tough when it comes to the fatigue in my core, or especially not like any pain or anything, but there's a good bit of strain on my shoulders just because snatch and bench, or clean and jerk and bench in one sitting it's pretty fucking tough. So I'm pretty happy with the form, and I've gotten good at being able to really pull the bar into my hips and whip underneath it. It's kind of just a full faith kind of thing. I tell people a lot that one of the hardest hurdles you'll go through in Olympic weightlifting is just getting to the point where you can whip under the bar with no regard for your actual safety. You just, the bar is going to go where it's supposed to go, and you're just going to try to hold out as well as you can. But everything felt pretty fucking solid. The last set was the worst set. You'll see, but I'll get into that because that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Bench, however, felt very nice, very in tune. Again, humbling because 5 sets is 5 sets, especially after an Olympic lift. But it's, if you saw me last week, I went to 305 for 6 for my 6 rep max. And 265 may seem super light and not worth doing. But I'm telling you, just at least with my experience and the way that this feels, you need these weeks where you kind of chill out for a bit, go a bit lighter to allow your body to fully recover, as well as get these humbling ass pumps. Because, man, I'm telling you, 265 will feel fucking awesome on a peak week. But 265 for 5 working sets, is, as fast as it may seem, it was a pump. And I mean that. But anyway, I'm not trying to fucking jump on my words or anything. I'm not super talkative because I'm actively staring at my McDonald's bag, waiting to chow down. I got a McDonald's frappe too. 650 calories of absolutely worthless food groups, but fuck it, clogged the arteries a little bit harder today. Physically, I'll give it a very, very, very solid 8.35. It's pretty solid. It was very, very nice. Again, if that last set on Snatch was better, I probably would have gone 8.5. But the bench felt great. There was no worries. It was actually a really weird experience. They've always got TVs playing and shit in the background, but I never really pay attention to it because I'm just normally locked in. And I started watching for a minute just because I had no one to talk to. And they were playing fucking Pitch Perfect. And I'm like, I thought they just played random ass TV channels on Cox. I didn't realize that they just had movies going on. And I was just watching Fat Amy do her shit, if you've ever seen the movie. But anyway, mentally, I'll give it, I'll just give it a very, very flat 8. It could have been a 7.9, but no, it was still a good day. And the homies were very uplifting. It was nice. And, I what I'm going to get into is I had a bit of a weird situation today, because in the 2 years I've been working out at this gym, not once have I gotten a fucking noise complaint. So I was very, very surprised to get my first ever noise complaint doing Olympic lifting, because I just didn't think it was something that they really cared about at this gym. Because again, I know everybody here and they really don't give a shit. So it kind of dragged me down a bit. That's why my last set on snatches was the worst, because they were just like, yeah, can you just like be quiet? And I was like, I'll try my best, but if I'm doing hook grip on an Olympic lift, there's only so much I can do. Like, I get that a lot of people will like recatch their snatches, especially at their hips, and then drop it to the floor. But I mean, if you've got experience doing hook grip, I hope you would know that I will lose my fucking thumbs doing that. And I was like, it was just a little awkward, I guess. But again, it wasn't that big a deal. I just brought it back, did good on the bench. But anyway, the whole point of me bringing it up is like the whole situation was, she was just like, oh, could you just like be a little quiet? It's just really, really loud. And I'm like, it's, you know, the first thing I got to remind myself is that even though she's like trying to tell me I'm doing something, maybe not so much that I'm doing something wrong, but just they would appreciate if I did something a little bit better for the community in the gym. It's really easy as a human in the moment with emotions to try to put your walls up and not get blamed for something that you don't want to be blamed for. Very normal reaction. So I kind of had to just like put myself down for a second and be like, all right, well, chill out. Like, she's not coming at me, you know, and nobody's trying to make me feel like shit because of what I'm doing. It's just communication. So I went up to her and I was like, I just wanted to like kind of make sure I open a firm line of communication, because like you never want to like hold on to that shit and let it fester. Like, as small as a thing as it was, if I had just kind of sat there the whole bench workout thinking about it without talking to anyone about it, especially the person who was telling me in the first place, it's just going to make me feel more negatively. So you might as well set a line of communication so you can fully express how you're feeling, even if it feels like it'll be insignificant. It's at least in my opinion, it's always helpful to get what you're feeling out there in a positive, non-blameful way. And again, it was just like one or two people were like, hey, he's kind of loud. And sure, I totally get it. I dropped the weights, and I could like, if you look on the last set, I grabbed the weights way quicker on the way down to try to like force the weight to kind of smush to the floor without making too much noise. But there's no way I'm gonna force myself to re-rack my snatch or my cleans at the hip, because I only hook grip. I only use straps on poles, and I'll recatch it at the hips with straps, sure, because it's not gonna hurt me. But with hook grip, especially with my hand injury from last year, I can't really risk that. But, you know, opening that communication, I was just like, I just want to, like, be on the same page as you. I want to make sure we can meet in the middle, even if it seems small. I don't want to make you upset, and I want to make sure I can accommodate as much as I can, because Olympic lifting is allowed, and they know we're going to drop the weights. So, like, what can we do to get past that? And she was like, you know, I'm not going to, and I know the girl, like, she's a good friend. I know most of the workers there. She was like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to judge you or anything, and I'm not going to go, like, tell you, like, what you got to do. Just, like, do your best to, like, see if you can make it as quiet as you can. And, you know, if we get more complaints, we'll talk about it. But just, you know, you're doing your thing. I'm not going to, like, nobody's going to make you stop, and nobody's upset with you. So just do the best that you can. So now that I've opened up this line of communication, to make sure that we're both, like, compromising and getting on the same page in a positive, productive way, I feel much more reassured by, oh, okay, so it's not the fact of Olympic lifting or whatever. She just wants to make sure that I just am a little bit mindful of it and do the best that I can, so that she's not overstepping on what I'm trying to do, and I don't overstep on me telling her what I want to do personally, you know? Because again, it's when you try to blame someone for something, regardless of who's right and wrong, people are going to try to put up their wall. So if I went up to her and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that for you, she was probably going to get defensive with me as well, just as I may have tried to. So it's good that the communication was brought up. But anyway, I will say on the last set, I was fully just thinking about how I could make it as quiet as I could. So I did not, like, the first rep was really good, but I'll throw it in there just because I'm talking about it. I really wanted to cut it out, but I might as well show you guys my fuck ups. On the second one, it was fine, but I wasn't focusing on it at all. And so when I landed in the bottom, I had an elbow bend on my left side, I believe. And I just was like, you'll see me just sit there and be like, oh, fuck it, I'll just stand it up and do another one. But then on my third one, I overthought it and almost threw it behind my fucking head, and it made me walk backward a little bit. So, you know, it is what it is. It's I would have liked to have had a bit better of an experience on my last top set, but I you know, when you hit a set like that at the end, you got to make sure you look at the workout as a whole and remind yourself of like how well you actually did. Every set before that was pretty fucking solid, you know? And I had some really good whippage, really good core confidence, good lockouts. And for a day where I'm supposed to be the most fatigued, I'm going to be fucking happy for that, you know? But, you know, I my whole kind of fucking moral of the story, I know it's a little weird that I just bring this shit up out of nowhere. You know, like I said, it's good to get this out in ways that are healthy and positive for you, that'll make you not fester it. So talking to you guys about it, I guess, makes me feel a little bit more open about it at the same time. But my whole point is, I talked to one of the homies that were at the gym today, that I'm a full, firm believer that you can communicate through anything. Genuinely. I genuinely fucking believe that. I know it may not seem as ideal in certain situations, but to me, there is never a reason to get physical. Like, if you've seen the anime Vinland Saga, you know, the thing with you have no enemies, as cringy as it may seem on social media or whatever, it's pretty fucking true. Like, there is really no point in trying to, like, actually go after somebody to, like, actually negatively harm them, whether it's physical or verbal, mental, emotional, whatever. You just gotta, if they're not willing to communicate, then you need to open yourself up to other people that will communicate it with you and just break off that situation as a whole, you know? Because, again, as I say, communication can always win, but both sides have to be capable of communicating. And not just communicating, but communicating with the intent of finding a compromise that works for everyone, you know? Not just trying to be... Like, whenever people go into a conversation in a weird situation like that, and they're just attempting to be the one that's right, none of you are going to end in a positive way, unless you just cut it off, you know? Trying to figure out who's right or prove, like, how wrong the other person is, it's not truly what matters. It's about finding a way to move past it in the most positive, productive way possible to where everybody can be happy, you know? Because... what's the point in making a negative situation more negative? You know, it's literally, this may seem like a bit of a stretch, but adding negatives together just makes negatives. You know, it's just like math. Like, there's no negative thing that you can do to someone that will make a situation more positive. Like, you may be able to convince yourself of that, but in the long term, the consequences always come back to bite you in a way. You know, I fully believe in negative and positive karma, you know. I think that if you do well and you try your best and you don't think about the shitty stuff too much and, like, focus more on the positives, then more positive things will happen to you. But just as much, if you focus too much on the negatives or try to negatively influence other people, whether you know you're doing it or not, you're going to have more negative karma in your life that comes back to get you at some point. So do yourself a favor and, you know, walk away from the situation knowing that you kept your cool and you kept true to your morals and principles, you know, because everybody's got their own things that they believe in. So you just got to kind of take whatever people, like I say, you got to take what I say with a grain of salt, because it's just everybody's way of living is different. And so that's what it's hard to live on a planet with this many people, especially in as social of a society as we live in. But as long as you just keep everybody's opinions to their own and just keeping your opinions to yourself and just communicating in a positive way without trying to blame or, you know, make people feel negatively, you'll probably live a pretty chill life. You know, these situations will get resolved very quickly. This is why I'm so confident in my relationship with my girlfriend. You know, we've been dating for 4.5 years now. And, like, I know she's going to be the one that I spend the rest of my life with. Not because I can sit here and give you evidence of it or that there's some empirical data that'll show that I will 100% marry and die with her. I just fully believe that with the way that we live our lives and the way that we communicate and interact with one another, we'll be fine no matter what. Because if you can both communicate and do the best for the sake of the relationship rather than who's right and wrong and how blamed should one person be or whatever, and you just try to make the whole situation better and find a compromise where you can both be more uplifted, then yeah, you'll be fine no matter what. And sometimes when people are not willing to communicate, sure, that may lead to just cutting off the situation as a whole. I've cut out people in my lives that I wanted to be great friends for the rest of my life. But in the long run, and you got to think about it for yourself, you got to be selfish with the interactions you have in life. And if you stick around people that negatively influence you, even if what they're doing isn't wrong per se, it's just the way that they want to live life, if you can't come to a compromise and can't properly communicate about it, then you just got to move on. Take your life as it is and just make sure you keep yourself uplifted and do the best you can. And I always say, like, the people that I end up cutting ties with like that, I'm fully open-minded to the idea that, like, give it like 5-10 years. If you end up running into each other again in a better environment and they go through better experiences or you go through better experiences that allow you to compromise with each other, then sure, of course you could be good friends regardless of what happened in the past, because the past is just the past. You got to live in the present day. But anyway, I'm going to digress. I feel like I've been going off for a little too long, but I appreciate, I just, me, I love talking about this shit and getting it out if I feel the need to, even if it seems like such a small, insignificant situation. But you will not be seeing me tomorrow. Rest day. I'm going to go see my mom because I'm a mama's boy and I got to go take care of the dogs. But, it's always so great to see family whenever you can, because you get so busy that it can be hard to remember to sometimes. So I'm going to go do that and just kind of enjoy my day off, and just take every step one step at a time with a grain of salt. I don't know. This video feels oddly low-key. I don't know if anyone else is getting that vibe, but, I kind of said it when I started. I wasn't in a big talkative mood, but here we are. This is why I do the videos. I always have shit that I didn't realize I was thinking about because I had no idea what to fucking talk about, and here we are. Anyway, I am at a point where I am rambling, so it's time to fucking hit the end recording button. But let me know your lives and you love something going. I love hearing about it. And just take care of yourself, Don't stress too much about the small shit and communicate with people because it'll work out. I promise. But you'll see me day after tomorrow and we will be back on our main clean and jerk day. Still doing the volume week, so it's going to be a tough one. But, clean and jerks, front squats, and clean pulls, we'll be able to get through it. So you'll see me. I appreciate you sticking around. See ya.